What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here. And this particular video right here is not about Mortal Kombat. This video is about politics. And hey, I understand why a good chunk of you watch my videos. You're here for Mortal Kombat material. And I appreciate that. I'm going to continue to deliver that and always will deliver that because I'm a Mortal Kombat guy. However, I'm also a human being. I'm also an American. I'm also a black man. And I don't just exist within the sphere of Mortal Kombat. Okay? The message of today's video: the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both garbage. And always will be garbage unless you and I do something about it. Okay? So before I get into this match, first let me show you what got me started on this particular shit right quick. Hold on. So I saw a clip of Hillary Clinton on the Jimmy Fallon show, and she said some of the most wildest shit to me that I've heard in a while. I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip and let y'all determine.
Humor. No sense of humor at all. Yeah. Come on, they were telling jokes.
Can we talk about the upcoming presidential election?
Oh no.
Yes, we have to. We have to. No more Easter Bunny talk. Yeah.
Now, the interview was kind of cool up to this point. She actually seemed kind of like a human being and was kind of humorous and shit, but the mask comes off.
I mean, it's Biden versus Trump. We know that.
It is.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Yeah. Love that.
Right? And
Yeah, good.
Get over it. Those are the two choices. Get over it. What do you say to voters that are frustrated that those are the two choices? Get over it, is what she says. Let's continue.
And, you know, it's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate and has a heart and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 91 felonies.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Interesting.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice, really. I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
Okay. I had just woke up from a nap, which I never take naps. You know what I'm saying? And I was probably about 95% awake when I started this video. Now I'm 100% awake. And now I'm mad all over again. This motherfucker here, she sits there and says, to the question, what do you say to frustrated voters that are upset that it's Biden versus Trump again? She says, get over it. This is a very telling response. And to me, it is yet another Democratic mask off moment. You know what I'm saying? Biden had one of his own years ago. Y'all remember? If you can't decide who to vote for between me and Trump, you ain't black. Y'all remember that? Yeah. That was Hillary's version of that shit. I ain't gonna put her on my screen no more because I don't even like looking at the lady, let alone talking about her or hearing what she got to say. But the problem with what she's saying, well, there's several problems. For one, it didn't have to be this way. And what I mean by that is this. We had every reason to believe during both the 2016 and the 2020 primaries, or actually 2024 primaries, No, I was right. 2016 and 2024 or 2020 primary that we could have gotten better choices. I'm gonna be outright. Hillary Clinton screwed Bernie Sanders out of that primary right from the very get-go. Her campaign basically decided to be the DNC, which is a massive conflict of interest. You know, a whole bunch of superdelegates had pledged to give their vote to her before the damn primary even began. You know, she famously got caught cheating, where she and Donna Brazile worked with CNN to not work with CNN, like the CNN gave her debate questions ahead of time. That way she could prepare. And that didn't happen with Bernie or Trump, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, it's not like Hillary lost or Hillary won that primary in a purely democratic fashion. She stole it. She didn't allow voters to make up their minds, you know, have the full list of qualifications between each candidate, sit down and make an informed consideration for themselves. She tried to strong arm her way into becoming candidate, and she did. At the same time, she and the Democratic establishment pumped up Trump during the Republican primary. The reason why they did that, they figured that he was so unelectable that he would be by far the weakest candidate and therefore give her an easy opponent. We see how that fucking worked out for her. But probably the most upsetting thing about it to me is the attitude. See, she really can't understand the viewpoint of regular people. Donald Trump and Joe Biden are two of the most unpopular politicians in American fucking history. And it's not hard to tell why. Both of them have a long documented history of lying. The year I was born, Joe Biden had to leave the presidential race because he was plagiarizing. He was caught plagiarizing a speech, and he got called out for it. Okay. Biden has told some huge lies about what kind of grades he got in college. He told lies about visiting Nelson Mandela, marching during civil rights, and all that shit. So, you want to talk about a lying ass politician? Biden's up there. He also has a history of being inappropriate with women. A Democratic, I want to say she was a senator, but she was a local politician back when Biden was vice president, accused him of touching her inappropriately. Joe Biden's still been accused of rape and sexual assault before he became vice president. Motherfuckers conveniently forgot that shit. Guess who else has had those same problems? Trump. They're very similar to each other. And that's why people are frustrated. Also, people understand that both of these guys, neither one of them is compelling. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them. They're both old as fuck. Both of them are corporately backed and funded. and will therefore, they're both going to obey their donors before they ever obey their voters. Okay? Both of them are corrupt as fuck. Okay? And at the end of the day, Joe Biden is cosplaying as a decent human being and doing a poor job at it because he's the one helping the state of Israel commit genocide against Palestinians. Okay? So this idea of him being a quote-unquote compassionate, caring old man, it's bullshit, Hillary. It's garbage. It's trash. You can throw that shit directly out of the window. And the other part about it is we're living in a Joe Biden presidency right now. What have regular people gotten for Joe Biden being president? Did he extend the COVID stimulus payments that Trump did? Nope. Trump gave voters $1,800 during COVID. Biden gave us $600, or was it $1,200? I think it was 12. After promising $2,000. I ain't forgot that shit. He promised voters $2,000 checks if they voted for Democratic senators in Georgia. They did that, and we got $1,200 checks instead of $2,000. You know what I'm saying? So, actually, I'm mistaken. Trump gave $1,400. Biden gave $600 or some shit. I forget the numbers now, but that's basically what happened. The Democrats did a sneaky link, basically, is what happened. Not to mention Joe Biden has basically he's failed to fulfill the vast majority of his campaign promises. Done virtually nothing on student loans, virtually nothing on immigration, nothing on police reform. You know what I'm saying? He did do a little bit of something for the infrastructure, but as we have just seen, bridges are still collapsing and all the regular shit. Inflation sky high as a bitch. Gas prices sky high as a bitch. Corporate profits are through the roof. But all this time, Biden's talking about how strong the economy is. Motherfucker, we don't care. We struggling out here. We struggling. And you talking about the economy. Fuck that. It felt like we were doing better under Trump. And this is coming from someone who would never even consider voting for Donald Trump or a Republican. The economy was objectively doing better under Trump. Now, hear what I'm saying. Trump is not responsible for that quote unquote better economy. He inherited Barack Obama's good ass economy. Okay? But then Trump damn near went and bungled that shit up. No, he did bungle it up with his response to COVID. And then Biden inherited that post-COVID economy, which is why shit is worse. So notice, I'm not giving Trump the responsibility for why the economy was so well, nor am I giving Biden the responsibility as to why it's not doing well. I'm simply saying that, factually speaking and objectively speaking, under Trump, people felt better about their money because the economy was doing better. Gas prices were lower. And then under Biden, things feel worse. Not because of them. You know what I'm saying? So you gonna have to, the idea that Hillary can sit there and say, get over it, that shit is laughable to me. Get over it. But honestly, this is not surprising because, as I said earlier, this is a mask off moment, another mask off moment for Democrats, because Biden already told us 4 years ago that if you can't decide between voting for him versus Trump, then you ain't black. He said that in his own interpretation of black vernacular on the Breakfast Club. Y'all remember that shit? I do. Now, he went back and apologized for that later, but the mask was already off at that point. You already told us exactly how you feel about black people. You feel that black people are there, we exist to vote for Democrats. And if you don't vote for a Democrat, you're not black. You're not black if you don't vote for Joe Biden. So if you're not happy, fuck you. Get over it, is what Hillary Clinton says. Do the Democrats have to earn your vote by giving you policies that you want? No, fuck you. Get over it. You're not happy that the Democrats don't fulfill their campaign promises? Fuck you. Get over it. What you gonna do? Vote for the Republicans? That's their attitude. That's her attitude. Well, that's not even just her attitude. That's the party's attitude. Because best believe she's not saying anything that they wouldn't have approved of. Hillary ain't never been no damn rebel like that. You understand? And honestly, this video is not even about Hillary. But I can see very clearly why she lost in 2016. And it's ironic that she's the one out here talking wild shit, because she's a huge part of the reason why Donald Trump was even president in the first place. She was deeply unpopular. And she didn't do shit to boost her popularity. She didn't even bother to campaign in places like Pennsylvania and Michigan. Two states that eventually went and voted red for Donald Trump. States that voted for Obama twice. States that were considered solidly blue and were predicted to be so in the 2016 election. You know what I'm saying? She was a candidate with a shit ton of baggage and a perception crisis. And what I mean by that is people look at her and they don't like what they see. They don't like what they hear. She sounds like she's lying even when she's telling the truth. And that's very unique for a politician, to be honest with you. But it's that attitude, that snarky ass, attitudinal, fucking, arrogant, smug disposition of, we deserve your vote, or we're entitled to your vote. That's the shit that really gets on my goddamn nerves. That's what's animating this video today. But I'm here to tell you, if you're somebody that traditionally votes blue, this is the best that you can expect from the Democratic Party. They are not interested in earning our votes. They're not interested in giving us policies that we want, need, and are promised. they allowed abortion to be killed by the Republicans just so that they can turn around and get free votes off of it. Obama could have codified it. Biden could have codified Roe. Clinton could have codified Roe. Abortion could have been protected forever. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. It wasn't a priority. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats have blundered time and time and time and time again. RBG could have been pushed off of the Supreme Court before she passed away. Obama could have strong-armed Merrick Garland into the Supreme Court during his time as president. He didn't. So Trump got 3 Supreme Court justice picks instead of just 1. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats have fucked up time and time and time and time and time again. And them being in power has not prevented a goddamn thing in terms of prevented Republicans from having their way with our republic. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of you that are watching that might be on the vote blue no matter who spectrum, you will counter with, well, listen, this election is existential. This is not no regular ass election. Like voting for Donald Trump is literally voting for fascism. Voting for Biden is a vote against fascism. You think so? See, here's the problem with that argument. We've been steadily creeping towards fascism, whether Biden has been in office or whether Trump's been in office, whether Obama's been in office. We've been creeping towards fascism forever. Period. This country has a long history of fascist rhetoric. Before any of us were even alive, we read about it in history books every year in school. Okay? Fascism is sort of a native tongue, honestly. So if we went full mask off fascist, it ain't gonna it's not gonna be because strictly because of the presence of Trump. It'll be something that is already in the American consciousness, subconsciousness, that Trump will have unleashed. That's one issue. The other issue is, I don't know how to break it to you, but every election from henceforth is going to be this. Every single one, every single presidential election from here forward is going to be this dire. Because the Republicans, here's what the Republicans are going to have to do. They're going to have to run Trump again if he loses this year. If he loses in November, he's going to have to run in 2028 because the voters won't have anyone else. And if for some reason Trump doesn't run, probably because he'll pass away, the Republican Party is going to be in a real crisis because they're going to have to find a candidate that voters find suitable enough to replace Trump. Nobody that they currently have in that field is going to be able to drum up any of that kind of energy that Trump did. Nobody. They're not going to drive up that kind of interest. And then the candidates themselves are going to have to try to imitate Trump because Trump has forever reshaped the party in his image. So guess what? Every future Republican presidential contender is going to be a bullshit ass Trump. And that means they're going to have to take on fascist rhetoric and possibly it be in favor of Trump-esque policies that are invariably fascist in nature. And that's what the candidates that we know exist, like Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie. Imagine if some new motherfucker pops up out of the woodwork. Someone that isn't currently in the race. What if Marjorie Taylor Greene hops into the 2028 presidential race? You think she's not going to capture those former Trump voters? She's a tried and true Trump supporter. Voters trust her. They think she will do the things that Trump would do. She can literally run her campaign on, I am the, I am Trump's, I am Trump's true successor. And that will be enough to propel her to victory in a Republican primary. And she will bring on fascism as a candidate and as a president. Best believe that. So every upcoming election from here forward is going to be a fight against fascism. So if we defeat fascism now, that's great. We're going to have to be defeating it forever. Every 4 years, we're going to have to be defeating fascism. Best believe that. And then here's the third thing about this. And this is a point that I don't hear any of these political pundits making, and it's actually quite disappointing. Even the lefties that I listen to. They used to make this point years and years ago, but they don't talk about that now for some reason. Voting for do-nothing Democrats today leads to votes for bad Republicans tomorrow. Somebody like Kyle Kalinske used to know that. He made a great point about how so many voters in Michigan and Pennsylvania, in these formerly Democratic thresholds, working class voters, mostly in manufacturing and stuff like that, they went from voting solidly Democratic to voting for Trump. These were states that supported Obama twice. They voted for Obama twice and then turned right around and voted for Trump. Why? Because Obama didn't deliver for them. Clinton didn't deliver for them. Biden's not delivering for them. He's not prioritizing blue collar workers. He's prioritizing Wall Street and the donor class. That's who's feeling the love in this economy, not working people. Okay? When you vote for neoliberal Democrats that don't do shit and they disappoint voters time and time again, what do the voters do? They say, well, I voted Democrat these last 2 elections and I haven't gotten shit for my vote. Maybe it's time to do something else. That's what they do. That's what they do. So it actually matters when we vote for somebody like Biden. It matters a fuck of a lot. Because if we vote for Biden today and he does nothing but be a lame duck president for the rest of, his term, that's going to lead to a lot of pissed off voters. They'll be happy that they didn't vote for Trump for the moment, but they're not going to be happy when gas prices climb even higher, when inflation climbs even higher, when the price of food gets higher, when taxes gets higher, when student loans come roaring back like they are now. You know what I'm saying? When they see all their expenses growing and their paychecks not growing to catch up with them, and they see how apathetic their federal government and their president is being in trying to relieve their pain through policy, guess what a lot of them going to turn around and do? They going to try somebody else.
They'll vote. A lot of them will vote Republican because the Republicans will probably be better on the economy. And if that Republican just so happens to position him or herself as an outsider that can get things done, unlike the career politicians, they definitely gonna turn around and vote for that motherfucker over the politicians that have done nothing. You dig what I'm saying? For some reason, people forget that shit. Even despite all of this, you got Team Blue voters that are just like, well, Biden is the lesser of two evils. It's not even a decision. Well, yes, clearly Biden would be better than Trump and has been better than Trump as president. You don't see Biden pushing racist rhetoric. You don't see Biden, endangering people's lives by not following COVID protocols and stuff like that. There's a million ways in which Biden is incrementally better than Trump. But the vast majority of voters, they just want to be able to pay their bills. They want to be able to live a decent life. They don't want to sit there and pay astronomical prices for gas and groceries and stuff like that. And they want a president that's going to help them do that. They don't give no fuck about what the dude does and says on Twitter. They really don't. Most voters don't care that Trump has quote unquote 91 felonies. They don't give a fuck about that. They can't fucking eat. They work 2 jobs. One of the reasons why I'm not posting more videos and more content is because I work 2.5 jobs. I have a full career as a teacher. But then I also teach GED night classes 2 days a week. And then I also tutor a kid on the side 2 days a week. I consider that 2.5. I might even be picking up a second child soon. I do that because my one salary from my career is not enough for me to both pay my bills and pay for the things that I want and need. It's not enough. And I have a degree. So imagine somebody that doesn't have a degree, how they're feeling. Imagine somebody with just a diploma or a GED. How are they getting by? You think that person gives a fuck about Trump's 91 felonies? They don't. They don't. I don't. You know why I don't care? Because even if they find Trump guilty, is that going to stop people from voting for him? Fuck no. Hell no. Them 91 felonies, if anything, it might even increase his voter count. Because some of them are so enamored by the idea of Trump that they think it's badass that Trump fought against the government and was found guilty. They're going to spin it in whatever way works for them to make Trump sound gangsta. So they don't give a fuck. They're going to still vote for him. They're still going to support him no matter what he does. You know what I'm saying? The only way I care about these 91 felonies is if it means that Trump goes to prison for some years. Then I'll care. Then it will matter. If it don't lead to that, then I don't give no fuck. You understand? And considering that Trump's been getting away with shit all his life, there's not a good track record of him ever being made accountable for the bullshit that he's done. I'm just saying. But the point to all of it is this. It's not going to be any different in 4 more years. No matter who wins this election, the situation is not going to be different. We're still going to be in an existential battle between 2 motherfuckers that are unpopular, people don't really like and don't really believe in all that much. And the Republican one is going to be bringing in fascism. and racism and xenophobia and transphobia, all the bad things. They're going to be bringing in all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that stops is if we stop it as voters. We have to stop falling for the dumb shit. We got to stop falling for the rhetoric. We got to stop falling for the talking points and start using our brains. We are the ones that put them in power. The Democrats are not owed our fucking votes. They have to earn them. If they want to earn our votes, they have to earn it through policy. They have to give us the policies that we ask for, or we don't fucking vote for them. It's that simple. This is especially true if you're black. See, even though the Democratic voters have largely moved on from the protests of 2020 and the calls for, police justice reform and racial equality and stuff like that, that seems like, the talk of yesteryear. I assure you, I have not moved on at all. I still want racial justice and equality because I'm still black. I'm still exactly the kind of person that fits the description of the people that police most often kill in this country. I am a large black man who's exactly the kind of person that would scare some whack-ass cop into murdering me, even though I'm being compliant with them. And then after I get killed by a cop, they'll try to use my own background to justify why I was killed. They'll try to say I was some sort of thug or some sort of menace, or that I wasn't listening to the orders of the cop when that wasn't true. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be as completely compliant as possible. I'm going to do everything the cop says, other than allow them to search my vehicle unjustifiably. Like, you got to show cause for that. And if you can't, then no, I'm not going to consent to that. But other than that, I'm going to do everything the police say. I'm telling you that now. Yet even that has not stopped police from shooting innocent black people. And during the protests of 2020, the Democrats got a lot of fundraising off of that. They did a lot of campaigning during those times. And they got a lot of people to vote or commit to vote for Joe Biden during that time. What has Joe Biden done to repay their vote? Nothing. He set up a task force. But can cops still pretty much do exactly what they were doing 4 years ago? The fuck, yes, they can. Yeah, they can. Are the results going to be largely the same? Absolutely, they will be. NRS got to fix this fucking online, because this whole set right here was a laggy, stuttery mess. And it was not fun to play, and I didn't do well because of it. Anyway, can cops still do the same bullshit they was doing before? Yes, they can. And that's not surprising, because our president is the man who wrote the 1994 crime bill. He don't give a fuck. He's largely responsible for why there's so many police on the streets today. This is not somebody that has shown a deep love and compassion and care for black Americans. He's never been that person. He's been apathetic towards the needs of black people his entire political career. And pretending as though that's not the case is completely disingenuous, and it insults my intelligence and everyone else's intelligence. But that ain't even the only reason I ain't voting for him. But the problem is, real talk, like I said, the Democrats are always going to put us in this position of having some snivelly, corporate ass-kissing career politician as their front runner. That's what they're going to always decide. We, as voters, have to make them bend to our will. And the only way we do that is if we stop giving them our motherfucking votes. If we start applying pressure to them while they're in office and before they're in office. That's how shit changes. Far too many of us have just voted and then sat back and wait and see. And then when they don't do what we ask them to do, we give them another chance and make up excuses for them. It's time to end that shit. Fuck them excuses. There's no excuse for this bullshit. No excuses at all. Them Republicans are shook to death of their voters. Doesn't mean that they listen to them, but they give them some policies because they know if they had the chance to end abortion and they didn't, them voters would riot. They know that if their candidates don't imitate Trump in some kind of way, even in a disingenuous fashion, they ain't getting no votes. They know this. That's why you see so many career-long moderate politicians now suddenly trying to pretend like they're Trump voters. Look at that shit. Stuttering as a motherfucker. They're doing that because the Republican Party knows that they have to give their voters what they want. Because if they don't get their vote. They'll go to someone else. They'll vote third party. They'll do their own thing and not put them in power. It's time for Democratic voters to start doing the same thing. It's time for black people specifically to start doing the same thing. It's time for the American populace to start doing the same thing. Neither one of these two parties gives a fuck about us. And we don't need them to. All we need them to do is obey us. They ain't got to like us. They ain't got to respect us. They ain't got to care about us. They just have to give us policy that we ask for, that we demand. And if they don't, then we need to make them responsible for that. That's the only way. That is the only way. Yeah, you can even see that this shit does not even feel good. It's not even running at no 60 FPS right now. I can look at it and tell. Shit crazy. Anyway. So, if you're a young person right now and you ain't registered to vote, register your ass to vote. Stop bullshitting. Register your ass to vote right now. Shit, you can pause the video now and get registered. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I would never presume to do that. It's not my business. Okay? But what I'm telling you to do is whomever you vote for, make sure you understand that them motherfuckers don't give a fuck about you. If you're voting for one of the two party guys, if you're voting for the Republican or whatever the hell, or Demo Crips, that's what people do in the hood or whatever. If you're voting for one of those party guys, understand whether it's Trump or Biden, they don't give a shit about you. Don't vote for them because you've bought into the rhetoric that they're gonna do the things that they said they was gonna do. Hell no, they're not. They're not that. They are not that. I'm gonna skip past this next match here because. Oh, never mind. Oh, that's the end of the video. The hell? Oh. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I skipped super far. Bugging. But
understand, if you're voting for one of those party persons, Trump or Biden, please do so understanding who exactly they are. They are corporate ass kissers that are not going to give you the policies that you ask for unless you force them to. They're going to obey their corporate paymasters. They don't give a shit about those things that they're saying that they care about. They're not going to do any of those things that they're talking about, especially Trump. They're both liars. They're both creeps. They're both old. They don't give a fuck. So vote for them if you will, but understand that truth about the both of them. You understand? But if you're like me and you're deciding that you're not having that bullshit no more, please do your due diligence. Vote for a candidate that is not corporately funded. Vote for somebody who has a track record of action on the things that they're talking about. Make sure you're well informed of what policies that they are in favor of advocating. Don't let people tell you that your vote is a waste. Their vote is a waste because they're the ones voting for motherfuckers that ain't gonna do shit. That's a waste of a vote. They're the ones voting for war criminals and fucking genocide enablers, as well as tyrants. They're the ones voting for them motherfuckers, not us. Okay? That's a waste of a fucking vote. Voting for someone who you know is bad for democracy and bad for the country. That's a waste. We're not wasting our vote. What we're doing is we're showing the parties that, hey, bitch, you better give us what we want or you don't get no power. And if they don't like that, they can get over it, bitch. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. If you stuck with me this long, I'll probably do more political content as we get closer to November, so be forewarned. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all. I'm out this motherfucker. Peace.